October 16th with Southwest Tech. Board. First item is public comments. Anybody online for public comments?
No, just Kathy, please.
Okay. Next item, the superintendent has arranged a tour of the Culinary Arts Center. Okay, so we'll just get up and leave and hopefully maybe 10 minutes and come back, okay?
Shouldn't be that long. And best route to take is probably out these doors, down the hallway, to Colin. Yeah, I'll bring Chuck and you. Okay?
Good.
No.
We need to,
Everybody has a taste of
and so we have a couple of things that I want to talk about. Oh, this whole, yeah, yeah, okay. So I did what you wanted to say. Yeah, so. Okay, but yeah, I'm aware that. Yeah, and I think for those 2 days where you have them, if you can do them, that's great, yeah.
You're good with it. I get through.
They're going on a tour of the culinary arts.
But it's a Wednesday, so I'm wondering what people.
Go to your name. Three buttons.
Yeah, and all they do is say pin.
Oh, maybe right click it. Did you right click it?
Dan, are we muted?
I can.
Tried all those
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
Oops.
Start with our TA takeout offering. It's
We have the new name and sort of, we also came off the education committee last week talking about tier 2 IRCs and college credits. Cool.
dining room. We were here all last year. The painting obviously is still here. We have curtains that are gonna go up hopefully soon. You can see that some of the tables are set. The culinary cues have different. And their own napkin bowls, etc. Started a couple weeks down. Sit downs are kind of different than what they're actually the same menus and whatnot that we did last year. Those 2 weeks that we were open, we're doing year round. And it's gonna be a sit down option. Culinary tunes, you're gonna get line experience, as well as like waiting tables, serving tables. And we're also gonna be doing the takeout menu that we've been doing for the last couple of years, which you can see in the menu breaking. So we'll be doing both simultaneously. This year we've changed and we moved the culinary 2 into a different time window. So that's actually them in there right now. They come in at 9:59, something like that. And they're here for 2 hours, which puts them in the perfect smack dab in lunch service. So they can accomplish that. Before they left at 10:30 in the morning, which was really hard lunch or any kind of food offering when they're not there, right? So, essentially it gave me my hour of window break or whatever, right when we were trying to serve lunch. So we're changing that. Next year, we're hoping to move the culinary ones into the early morning slot from the 7:50 to 9:50 area so that they can be responsible for takeout, which is more along the lines of what they would be learning, sandwiches, soups, sauces, pizza, stuff like that, basic cookies and basic baking principles. They can be responsible for that, so they have something they can be proud of every day, or 2 days a week that goes out. Culinary Tuesday really focus on just a progression of. So all the tablecloths, napkins, etc., were donated by the linen shop in Rochester. We drove up there and grabbed those. That was very nice of her. So we have linens for every table, and we have a couple of different colors and stuff like that she donated. This summer, I drove to Maine.
I'm drawing a blank on it.
Yeah, it's okay. There was a tech center in Maine that was part of our NEAS committee that they were willing to donate. Essentially, they were getting all new silverware and plates, so they were willing to donate all of the new stuff. So we have a whole boatload of new glassware, plates, etc., to be offered out here, which is very nice. We needed glassware pretty bad, so yes. And then, as you can see, we have a new logo for the bistro. Is getting its own identity. So last year, third-year students worked with graphic design to come up with a new identity for the bistro, and the name that was voted on by the students and Mike approved it was the 1761 Bistro, which is the date or the year that Bennington was founded. And then here's our logo. We have the Southwest Tech and graphic design did all of that. So it's a collaboration for 30 years and to make presentations for Mike, etc., go through the whole process.
It was actually a pretty neat process to watch the design. There was 3 or 4 final designs, and they were all really neat actually, but we settled on this one at the end of the day.
So I think it still incorporates some here in Southwest Tech with the mountains, but it gets us our.
Just briefly talk about the your tier 2 credentials and college credits.
Tier 2 credentials. The Tier 2 IRC, which is the ServSafe manager, we've been doing for the last 2 years. Culinary 1 students just took it on Friday. Preliminarily, scores are good, but obviously you don't know until the NRA sends it. Last 2 years, we've had 100% completion rate. Everyone passes. So everyone walks out with that certification. Same for this year. And then we also this year are starting to offer our second-year students 3 college credits in an intro to hospitality dual enrollment with White Mountains Community College. So they're actually signing up for that on Wednesday, next Wednesday or half day, where at the end of the year they will get those 3 college credits. Next year, I just wrote Mike an email about this because I just had this meeting on Friday where we're hoping that we can do first years will get 2 college credits in safety and sanitation by taking that ServSafe exam. And that will be, so at a completer at the end of 2 years will walk out with 5 college credits. And we have a boatload of articulations with colleges all, so they have options.
Thank you. Questions from the board for Chef?
Just compliments.
We did get a whole load of new equipment as well, new mixers. We got a new fridge last year, new dishwasher last year. We got a new mixer last year. We got 2 new KitchenAid spatulas, whisks, pots. Culinary 1 is full at 16 students, so we needed more pots for kids to make things like rice because I only had 4. But now we have something like that, which is great. So, yeah, there's a lot of new. I could go on how much stuff. Last 2 years. So,
But-
couple of things, yeah.
First of all, I want to compliment the Star Wars reference and the culinary costume there.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hey, Chef Bader.
What? The one that meeting. What is going on with that?
Pardon me. State not having a true culinary program, culinary college at all, it's really hard. And I understand the second half of this thing is to make sure kids are, prepared well. I know I have two students that are looking from last year. And I have two students that are going to Schenectady, SUNY Schenectady. What are we doing to my advisor? I know I have a student, last year that worked at PNC. As far as like continue. It's a challenge. And I try to make the job opportunity well in the classroom that I post everything I can to the students about it. But it's really to be put on them to go out there to support them in resume writing, all that kind of stuff in class. So they have the tools to go out there and get. Staff in like, based learning environment. Most of my kids already have jobs. Is and plus like 2 years of
Setting where people, students are learning to serve a table environment. Those that are learning to be able to prepare something, take out for somebody, because go through that. Because when you think about it, on most of the fast food places, so everybody's taking out stuff. So they really would have an edge up by learning how to manage to take out and make sure they can. I think that's a so stock for home delivery things along that line.
Yeah.
So that's a big industry that is now unfolding out there. All the COVID, and a lot of people getting into calling up and says, deliver to my house. It's certain ways.
Any partnership with the Vermont Veterans Home?
Again, I've met with, can't remember his name, but off the top of my head, we've met with him. I actually have a student, that's gonna be interviewing. Definitely different style of cooking, it's definitely viable, no doubt. And whenever, I know they're always looking for people, so people are saying, hey, I need a job, I said, well, it's easy, you walk there. You know what I mean, like, or I just, you can walk there. So not necessarily like a full-on partnership, but we're aware, I think. It's the best I can.
Yeah, definitely a work-based learning site,
Yeah.
for sure.
And,
Yeah, so I was thinking.
like I said, the work-based learning is hard, in my opinion. It's a great opportunity, but with a 2-hour window, it's really hard. Restaurants, I think that's where the from shine, get there quickly, get work. Yeah, yeah.
An after school one, that'd be easy
Yeah.
because they eat early.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, when I know of jobs, I post them again, and, I know that Melanie, aka Wendy,
Our interim work-based learning coordinator.
yeah, she has a student. Have an interview
Well, thank you, Chef, for your time. I'll let you get back to your students, and it's been a fantastic job with the updates, and I just think it's great to tour around and see what's going on.
Yeah. That was my intro class. I was like their first day in the kitchen. So hopefully everything. Like day one, they got here. Oh, good, good. They got here, I was like, guess what? Trial by fire, let's go. So.
All right. Thank you. We'll head back to the assembly room.
It goes through, goes over well, and yeah, it's like well over it. And it's all that hard work and no. Be done with it.
Dan?
Okay,
Al, just go back on.
Oh, yeah, it should be good. It should be back.
Oh, you know what it is? I think it's the tile with the view, that's all.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
okay, thank you. Now the consent agenda, first the minutes from the RGB school board meeting, September 11th. Motion,
I'll move. Second.
second. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, payroll warrants, 1010 and 1012.
So moved. Seconded.
Any questions on it? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I just, I have a question. Maybe the next one. This Better Lesson Incorporated for 85,500, what is that?
That's, I can address it more, it's going to be under our Perkins grant, it's professional development, and I can talk more to it.
Yeah, it's a year, it's professional development for all of our faculty and staff, it includes all of our teachers and all of our paraprofessionals. And it's required use of Perkins money for PD. So it's year long, and the teachers and parents have access to a personal coach when they set their goals and work with them on a semi-monthly basis or semi-weekly basis, excuse me, throughout the entire school year.
We don't take advantage of the SBSU's training. I don't know.
No, 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 we don't, no.
All right, that's okay.
Again, that's all paid for out of our Perkins funds.
Okay, vendors warrants, 2009 and 2011.
So moved. Seconded.
Second, any questions on those? I just had that one on the board. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you should have your cash flow, revenue, and expense treasurer's report. Committee reports, executive committee, Monday, October 2. Okay, the executive committee met with the superintendent and we went over the goals for this coming year. We went over last year's goals, and he mentioned what he had accomplished and which one will be continuing. And we did cover the new goals for this coming year. Do you have those?
They should
That's one, yes.
actually have it here for the screen as well, but I'm having a bit of a time with this year.
I think the most important thing about goals is just to have a limited number that you can accomplish instead of having 8, 9, and 10 goals. And that, if you do, they're gonna have to have some.
So Sandy is going to grab hard copies of this, but it is here on the screen as well, for those that are at home. Really, I'm going through these quickly with you. So the first goal that we developed was develop and implement a CTE program quality review cycle. This is really driven by the metrics and Perkins that we have to use to evaluate programs, whether they're meeting tier 2 credentials, post-secondary college credits, do they have work-based learning participants, a whole bunch of things go along with that. And we're likely going to be using the SREB's program review model, which we've used in the past. And we'll typically, the goal is to do 3 programs per school year. Any more than that really is not tenable with the amount of things that need to be done. So I have not chosen 3 programs yet. I want to speak to the staff this week at our faculty meeting about this new program review cycle. And we will pick 3 programs to work on this year. And report back to you. The second one is, this is taking a while, but full implementation of our RAID emergency alert system. I'm not going to get into all the details of what that is. I'm going to give you just an overview of that. It is a self-contained app, mobile app, that our teachers can use in the event of an emergency, whether it be a fire, EMS, an active shooter, any other situation where they can contact authorities and or the office folks right away. In the back end of the system, they are preloaded with maps of our campus, with locations, et cetera, on it. That's all I want to say about it in public open session. I want the rest of it to be talked about some other time in executive session, just for safety purposes. And it's Megan's seen it. We sort of, I would say, not piloted it, messed with it, bit of our last year. And this year we're just going to implement it. We're going to do it. I think folks will be happy about it. Number 3 is to increase academic performance in our state assessments. And that's for us, that's work keys, with a focus on mathematics. As you know, we've hired a math interventionist for this year, paid for out of our Perkins funding. It took us 2 or 3 years to find somebody. And that seems to be going well so far this year with integrating in the classrooms and with a focus on, again, increasing performance on our state assessments, which also relate to our Perkins funding. Number 4, this is an internal thing, update and simplifying our in-house educator licensing system to ensure accountability. Everyone that is in front of students is required to be licensed. The system that the ADOE uses can be cumbersome at best at times. And so teachers are all over the place. It's not their fault on renewal cycles. Some are in a 7-year cycle, some are in 3, some are in 5. And it needs to be tracked. And so I'm developing a better system for that. And the 5th goal is finalization of s3tech.org and its integrated features and content. The goal was to sunset our SBCDC domain this month. We're getting very close to doing that. This will be an ongoing, website's never finished, but frankly, it shouldn't ever be. Otherwise, it's just a static page, right? It needs to have updated content on it. It's been a big push for this. With Bull Sauer has worked a lot on this. Transferring one website to another is not as easy as it seems. And we're now in this sort of cleanup phase, and sort of skeleton starting over with it. So,
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
What will happen if someone goes to the old website? Will it still push to the new one?
it automatically redirects to the new one. Yeah. Yep. And then a carryover goal from the board from last year was to develop a consistent graduate follow-up study and share the data with the staff to assist with program development. And this really relates to our need to report to the state on 6-month, 3-year follow-ups of students and where they are, what they're doing, what are they doing? Are they employed? Are they working in the field? Are they unemployed? Incarcerated? There's an entire list of things that to answer. And it's very difficult sometimes to get a hold of folks when they leave. So our goal is to have at least the latest contact information when seniors graduate out of here so that we can hopefully contact them so we have better data for ourselves. So those are the goals that we talked about. The executive committee approved those on October 2nd, just last week or so. And so that's what I have.
I think that, the follow-up would be nice, especially if we have graduates from that certain field, if we come back and speak with the kids about how much they appreciate what they learned here in the classroom, and then use it in real life. Okay, next is the Joint Education Facilities Finance Meeting, which we met last Thursday. And we'd like to Fran as our chair.
We're fine. Fine.
Oh, should be, Jason, sorry.
Anthony, for Anthony.
Did you have this?
It did not.
One of you,
I would, actually.
just the things we covered.
Want to go first? So yeah, we're talking about upgrading the welding booths, and so I guess we have an idea of the price on those. I think we're looking at 4, but we're trying to get bids for the installation. So that was one, and trying to figure out tier 1 certification college credits and add more, and kind of maybe throw out some ideas of what that may look like. We're still teasing that out and trying to come up with maybe possible incentives for teachers as well along the way. Well, that's, we're still talking about that, trying to figure that out. And talking about Habitat for Humanity, working with the Little League field and another project too, I believe, but that's the one. What was the other one, the Little League field?
And our partnership with Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, that's right, and that. So all good things are happening, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah.
Okay. For finance, we had talked about the timeline, which I have I won't go through this thing, but we can get it, all the board members a copy of that unless they don't already have it. And also brought up the fact we need to do something with our teachers to retain the staff. I don't know whether it is, I had mentioned about a new grid for the teachers or something, so they can move on a grid. Maybe you do merit pay or something, but I'd have to sit down with Rebecca and find out what we can and can't do. I'd really like to keep the union out of it, but that's our wish, but I don't know if we can or not, but for the most part, I think we need to do something on that. And with the allocation agreement with MAU, we mentioned that, but we didn't talk about it. That's something, Rebecca, that you'll be doing with us anyway, or? Okay. Okay. Other than that, that's all I got.
And Fred, if I could add, we did agree on the November 6th President's Day. We wanted November 6th Finance Committee meeting as our first one to kick off.
Okay. Yeah, right.
For the budgeting season.
Yeah. November 6th, 2023.
Any questions? Okay, now the policy committee meeting today.
All right, we had a lively discussion as part of our policy committee meeting. We discussed policies on sexual harassment, grievance procedures, and conflict of interests and hiring. Now, mind you, each of these policies have been added to the agenda for next month's meeting because frankly, they were great sources of conversation, I'll put it frankly like that. We had some editorial changes that we wanted to make and other things that we wanted to look at in greater depth before we rushed to pass along any of these to the full board. That being said, we are going to be meeting about them next month and hopefully push them along to this full board for approval. That being said, we did review each of them, and I made it clear that if there's anybody on the policy committee, or for that matter, on the board that would like to see a certain policy discussed, please reach out to Sandy and myself, and we can have that added either next meeting or more likely the meeting after that. That way we can continue to work on reviewing and updating policies as need be. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, action item. First item is the cosmetology field trip, and we all received one of the documents in our package.
Yeah, this is a field trip to the beauty show over in Nashville, New Hampshire for 10 students on November 13th. You'll note that it is about a month out or so, and we have not assigned a chaperone or a bus driver in particular yet. That's why it just says Southwest Tech bus driver. We have several drivers, and it's way too far out to predict who's going to be the driver / chaperone that day. So that's why that's not on there.
I'm interested in knowing, I noticed that it kind of depletes their budget quite a bit, and does that not allow them to go to another type of,
Not necessarily,
okay.
no. Rebecca, do you want to add?
Yeah, they have an activities account, which a lot of the funding from the services in their salon help add to that, and they also do fundraising, so they're always having the cash flow coming in to help them, so it will not eliminate, and if for some reason there's a very important field trip that they need to attend, we certainly will make sure it can happen, so they will be fine. Usually in the spring, they do the New York City show,
Yes, I
and
have that.
it won't
I was worried.
stop them, no, it won't stop them from doing that.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, no. Motion to approve this field trip.
Don't move.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Adult education update, sir.
Rob. Hi, everybody. It's been a couple months since I talked to you, so I thought I'd just update you on everything that's going on with adult technical education and workforce training. The goal for this coming year is to enroll 110 students. 85 in person and 25 online is a general guideline, but somewhere in that vicinity, those numbers can move a little bit. The school year really started for me July 1st, and we've run 2 LNA classes and a CDL class. All of these classes were full or very close to it. And the good news is the last couple LNA classes have had a 100% pass rate on the state licensure exam on the first try. So we know we're doing very well there. And our CDL class is currently ongoing, but the last CDL class in the spring also had a 100% pass rate state licensure on the road test as well. So we know we're doing very well there too. Last time I talked to you, I did mention we were going to run a heavy equipment class over the summer. Unfortunately, that did not happen, mostly due to a whole bunch of students dropping out at the last minute. So that was disappointing, but we're going to re-examine the structure of the class. We think that might have had something to do with it, and try again at some point. Tonight is our computer basics class. That is a 5-week course on Word, Excel, Google Docs, email. This is for the fairly novice computer user. We've got that class full enough to run, which is great. That will be going on upstairs in Kristen's room. And starting in mid-November, we're going to run Introduction to Welding again. So I'm very appreciative that we're going to be looking at the welding space. That class will certainly be full, but it is limited to 4 students based on our current facilities. Interest is certainly higher than 4 students, so in that facility, gets renovated, that will allow us to enroll a few more adult students in that program as well, as there's quite a bit of interest in introduction to welding. We'll run 2 more LNA courses this school year and another CDL class in the winter and the spring. I'm also open to running a CNC machining class and hopefully some other custom courses for industry. The big news is that for next school year, we're going to be launching a massage therapy program. I'm very excited about that. You can certainly put in your reservations now if you'd like to. We're really hoping that that will be another signature program along with LNA and CDL and hopefully welding as we're developing that for adult technical education. We really have quite a bit of time to recruit for that. We're only looking for 6 students. So it's not a very heavy lift, and that will only enroll once a year. But very excited for that. I'll have more details on that as we move along. According to the Department of Labor, massage therapy is a high-demand job in Vermont, and there will be a significant number of openings over the next 10 years. So there's definitely a need and an opportunity there for us. And there are no other massage therapy training programs probably within 50 miles of here. So there's a good opportunity in this area.
Is it a credentialed program?
It will be. Ironically, the state of Vermont does not license massage therapists, but they will have industry recognized credentials, the national certifications.
Yeah, they don't recognize them, but if your healthcare physician says, do that, you don't get a reimbursement unless it's a licensed person.
Yep, absolutely. So those industry recognized credentials and national exam are part of that program. So, some other exciting news is that Southwest Tech, specifically through my program, was a part of a group that applied for a fairly substantial grant from the federal government through Senator Welch's office. The consortium was awarded the grant, and it's dedicated to increasing and retaining local workforce dedicated to the local food system. So Southwest Tech was granted a bit over $100,000 to propose training to help with this workforce dedicated to the local food system initiative. So what we're putting forth right now to the folks that will approve it is to offer a tractor safety course, a butchering course, ServSafe, which is the certification that folks need to work in a kitchen, and also culinary worker training. None of these have been approved yet, but we actually have a meeting tomorrow with a larger group to see if those are something that we can bring to fruition here with this grant money. What they're really trying to do is get people trained to work on farms, work in kitchens, work in restaurants, work in a whole bunch of different industries that all relate to the local food system. There's a bit of a challenge. People want to buy local, right? You're hearing a lot more of this buy local stuff, but it's very hard for actually farmers to get that produce to market. And so that's a big part of this grant, and that's what we're hoping to step in on that one. Also, I was awarded a contract from the Agency of Transportation to offer welding and heavy equipment training to local DPW employees through the Vermont Local Roads Program. So myself and 2 other tech centers in Vermont received these awards. So we will likely be doing those classes in the spring, as DPW employees tend to be hunting in the fall and plowing roads in the winter. So they're not really easy to get a hold of until the spring. So we're looking at running those classes in the spring. And the nice part about that is that V-Trans and the local roads program will actually provide the students. So we don't really need to advertise those. We just set the classes up the day of enroll the students, which is great. 2 more things real quickly. This one I'm very excited about. As you may have heard, we've been developing a partnership with Command for a lot of different things that we do here.
I was going to have you do this anyway.
Oh, there you go.
All
So Southwest Tech has been doing more to partner with Command through our different programs. A lot of people drive by that building every day and have no idea what goes on in there. And they're a significant local employer. So we've been working to develop a partnership with them, obviously for our manufacturing technology program, but for a lot of different programs here, including culinary, which you're going to hear about in a minute. Graphic Arts has done some work for Command as well. You've seen Command's delivery truck driving around town, all that logo and everything on the side of that truck was done by our graphics arts students. You may have seen that in the paper as well. So Anyway, we're developing a larger partnership with Command, and I've been bugging them for a couple of years, and they finally agreed to fly their helicopter up here. It's called K-Max. They're gonna land it out front there, and we're going to do that in celebration of Manufacturing Month. National Manufacturing Month is October, so we're in that right now, and they are going to come up, they're gonna land the helicopter out there from 8 to 11, and we're gonna have Southwest Tech students and MAU students come out and take a look and learn about Command and learn about the manufacturing program. So it's an opportunity for that program to highlight their work, and I'll be working with Tim on that. We'll have small groups of students, I should say small, groups of probably about 30 or 40 students who come out and take a look at the helicopter, learn about aerospace, learn about Command, learn about our program, and see something really cool. So like I said, after years of me bugging them, they have relented, and they will bring K-Max up here. You may have seen it flying around town. It's this really skinny helicopter, and it has this dual blade that rotates in opposite directions, and it makes a really weird noise. So if you've ever heard this weird thing flying in the sky, they bring it up for their company picnic in the summertime. I noticed it, and I was like, geez, that'd be really cool if they brought it to the school. So they finally relented and are willing to do, I should say relented. They're actually excited to bring it here.
When is that?
That's gonna be on the 26th.
Okay.
Yep, and rain date on the 27th, so. And I've already coordinated with Vic, who's gonna coordinate with the fire department and the police department. And we're gonna have Paul, our student resource liaison, and some folks from MRU out there to do a little crowd control, and make sure everything stays safe. I'll be out there as well. So feel free to come by between 8 and 11 on the 26th of October if you wanna check out K-Max and see what's going on with that.
Should be pretty neat to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful the weather cooperates, so. The last thing is also to do with Command, is they are going to be bringing over all their employees who are veterans, and they're coming over on November 13th for a Veterans Day brunch. There'll be about 30 or 40 of them, and Culinary is going to put that on in the restaurant that you just saw. So it's another neat opportunity and neat coordination we have with Command as well. So that's just some nice PR. It's something they really wanted to do. They were really excited about what we do in culinary. So we thought it was a nice idea. We obviously don't have school on when we celebrate Veterans Day, so we're going to do it the following Monday, which works out very well. So that's my update. Questions?
You've been busy.
Yeah, right. Busy. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to hear more about, I mean, you said something about the grant, and they get about that farmers to use program or something with practice safety, butchering and all that kind of, how is that really gonna work? Is what
Sure.
if I could hear a little bit more of that, that sounds really interesting, that ought to draw a lot of the people in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the Bennington Community Market in Shannon-Barsati in the town of Bennington, we're, jump in here, Mike, if I'm forgetting anybody, we're really sort of the center of applying for this grant. And again, it's about increasing and retaining workforce for the local food system. So Southwest Tech was approached to be a partner in that. I think because they knew we have a culinary kitchen, we have some of the capacity to deliver some of these other trainings that they might have been looking for. Of course, we had no idea if we were going to get the grant or not, but when we did, we've had our first coordination meeting. And the idea is to create trainings and programs and initiatives that help create a local system for the produce essentially to get to market to those of us who want to actually buy local. There's a lot of different moving parts to that and pieces of that to make that happen. They've identified actually increasing the farm workforce is one of the initiatives that they need to get to. They have identified creating more folks who can work in actually processing the food is one of the initiatives. And then actually having more people able to actually prepare and produce the food for the community at large as another part of the initiative. So we were basically asked to come up with, what can you do? You know, what do you think that the tech center can deliver that would be helpful in developing this workforce, right? So we need to create more farmers. That's one of the first parts of this initiative. And so one of the things that we thought we could do, which obviously pretty much every farmer needs to know how to run a tractor, and that's not necessarily an intuitive thing to have to do. I grew up out in the country and I learned how to drive on a farm tractor, but not many people do that anymore. And so we decided with Eric Bishop, who is our forestry instructor, who is also very well versed in tractors, that would be something that we could offer, and we're going to follow I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a national tractor safety program that's out there. We're actually going to follow their curriculum class. So part of the grant money is going to go to purchase tractor. That's something that the forestry program will be able to use as well.
And this was part of a much larger grant, and we were just, sub-granting this, almost $2 million grant for this project. It was earmarked, and so Southwest Tech, Bennington College, and the town are
Merck Forest.
are the partners in this, so. We were actually really surprised when the grant came through. I mean, it was almost a couple years ago that we put it in this, talked about it, and all of a sudden it came to fruition, so. I was kind of caught off guard by it, actually. And we had a really nice meeting right here just last month, kick off meeting about it, the ideas, and I think what Rob's come up with around butchering and programs that Chef Nick has helped develop for this, and the tractor training and safety training. Seems to be well received so far by the group. It was just given them a couple of days ago, and the response seemed positive. So it's something totally different for us to try.
Does this dovetail with CDL?
No. Yeah, they're good.
They're good?
They're different. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think we should get a simulator for tractors?
I can really keep people off the CDL simulator. Tractor simulator down there, and we're gonna have HR is gonna have to talk to some people about the amount of time they're spending.
And then Jackie,
playing
a lot of courses and a lot of cruisers in later, so.
It's on level, I just gotta say, so, yeah, Asher.
I'm really excited to hear that there's an agricultural option that folks in adult ed can take. I would love to hear more about this going forward and the success of the program and how we can expand that for adult education and potentially for something at the high school level for, us to identify folks who might want to participate in anything related to agriculture or conservation. And I'm just color me excited.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any plans to team up with Hill Dean and their farm animals and some of the things that have going on up there?
Yeah, I don't know if that's come up with a discussion. We've only had one meeting thus far, so I know Merck Forest is part of it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, actually, I don't have it in front of me. They've done a lot of pre-work with this, and the names of the folks are escaping me right now. They visited 75, 100 different types of local farms and food stands, and did a really comprehensive map of the North and South Shire of what's available. I was blown away. I had no idea these places even existed. So it's pretty fantastic. So I think a lot of legwork's been done on it. I don't remember seeing the Hill Dean on there, TJ, but I drove by it all the time. I'm very familiar with it. So it's not on the list. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah. Most farms only have one or two tractors. We need a lot of hands on that. So, just gonna keep that in mind.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Excellent. Nice to see all of you.
Yes, you do.
Superintendent's report.
Well, our report's been given, between all our, I'm kidding aside, between our, we've had a lot of meetings in the last few weeks. The executive committee setting up the goals for the year. I think we had a very successful education and finance committee meeting, last week. We did a joint meeting with that. We did talk about, like TJ said, potentially upgrading our welding suite downstairs in the manufacturing classroom as that continues to be popular and grows. It's just not for daytime, but also adult education. We did speak about the budgeting process going forward, starting really, really soon. We had a lengthy discussion about the allocation agreement with Anthony, what that payment looks like, and digging back a little bit deeper, so better understanding of it. And what else am I missing? I think that's about it. And then we are here. You can talk about this if you want or not, but since you're involved in our testing that we've been doing.
Yep, we're in the midst of our work keys testing. There's 3 parts to it. The First section is the workplace documents, which students took last week. Or no, 2 weeks ago. Last week they took the applied mathematics, and then this week they'll do the graphic literature piece, and then hopefully be done. Basically, we're testing new students to programs this fall. And then in the spring, what we'll do is we'll go back and any students that didn't hit that score of 5, either last year or this past fall, they'll have to retest until they hit the score of 5. The test goes up to a score of 7, so, and we've had a really good turnout, and, you know, we're just kind of moving along with that.
It's a big undertaking.
Yeah.
It's a huge undertaking to coordinate the testing, and we, I think we talked about this at an education committee meeting. We are still testing on paper.
Yes.
This is our last year with that. Unfortunately, I think that Meg and Dave Dutcher and Lisa Harrington, our guidance coordinator, they are the ones that manage all this testing, and it's really, it's intense. It's disruptive, but it's also required by the state. We have to do this testing. And next year, we do have to switch to computer-based testing, which sounds like it would be an easy feat. It's a completely different animal altogether. And so there's some challenges to meet with that. Our goal is to potentially do a small pilot this spring testing with a group or 2 of students. I'm disappointed that we have to switch away from it because there's such a good process with it involved. But there are many behind that, I'm sure. And so we'll see how that goes. I mean, things that we have to consider for computer-based testing are spacing in labs and classrooms, computer access, bandwidth, accessibility. I mean, it's going to be a whole different, we'll figure it out. So I want to thank Megan, Lisa, and Dave for coordinating that, and all the instructors who stop what we're doing and give those tests. And it is intrusive. Thank you.
You just test kids in 1 and 2 different courses. You don't test it.
Just program, yeah,
Just
just
program
program students.
I don't know how, if we had to test our intro classes, I don't know how we would manage
Right.
that. That's another 200 or 300 students.
Right.
Yeah. That's all I have.
And our numbers are good.
The snapshot occurred yesterday. So either the report will be in November, the October 15th snapshot, well, technically, yes, but that'll finalize our FTE counts for this fall.
Okay, I have 2 things. First of all, Leon is going to be going to the Vermont School Board Association annual meeting up at Lake Maury, and he informed me that he has to be voted on and approved as a representative to vote to represent us at the meeting. So I'd like a motion to.
I'll anoint that power.
Second.
Okay. And second. Any questions of Leon?
Nope, have fun.
All in favor?
Been anointed, yeah.
Okay, the second thing is that our board member Asher over here has run into some problems with his job versus coming to a meeting. I don't know if you'd like to explain it probably yourself more than I.
Essentially, I lose money each time I am at a non-work thing on a work day. I work Monday through Friday, as I know many parents and teachers do, who might otherwise want to be here. I know that we rarely ever have someone who issues public comment. Perhaps teacher and parent for the more public, not just comment, but attendance, participation in our meetings would increase if we have these meetings later in the day. Now, I realize having them at this point of the day works, for Mike and Meg and Rebecca, for the schedules. I understand that, I acknowledge that, so I'm not stating that I want to have these meetings changed on my account. Of course, it would be helpful alternatively, but I'm really thinking more so about parents and teachers who would like to attend these meetings but cannot because, 10 a.m. during a workday on a Monday, is going to prevent a lot of folks from, participating who might otherwise want to do so.
Yeah, we had talked about it in the finance meeting the other day, that maybe changing the time to say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which wouldn't be too much of an inconvenience for the administrator, because you stay here till 3 anyways, right? So, I don't know if that's something we can change, because I know we voted at the beginning of the year, we reorganized, have a date and place and time, something like that.
Can you alternate it? I mean, 1 month to have it at this time, the next month to have it at a certain time, does that make sense? I mean, if whoever was having the decision, and I know it was a concern of mine earlier too for this, and I'm retired, I can make this and it works out, but then I get a lot of flack from other people saying, why are you running the super board at 10 o'clock in the morning, so along that line, but,
I think also part of it, I mean, part of the 10 o'clock came out of the beginning of COVID, actually, it just was a convenient time to meet. And then the 10 o'clock sort of rolled into the idea that you get to explore some of our programs during the day where students are here. So it's sort of this, I don't know, we've had really good board attendance, I think, at this time. I hear people shouldn't have to lose pay either, so I see both sides.
Plus, we have, I think, keep Dana in mind too, with his job, and Mondays are convenient for you, right?
Yeah, and I can drive up Monday after this meeting, if it were to be at 4 o'clock.
But I mean, the other 4 days really don't work too well for you, in person.
Monday.
It's nice to have people in person.
3 o'clock. Is 3 o'clock better than 4, a little earlier than? Oh, what time do you work? I'm sorry.
Again, thank you, Mike. And again, I'm not wanting it to be based on my schedule so much as, what would be better for parents and teachers for them to attend, which might be even later, although I generally, my hours go until 3:30. Again, I don't think we should be basing this decision off of my hours, although 4 would work best for me. And I mean, regarding what schedules parents and teachers go by, 4 might work as well. Although I know that other school boards usually meet at 6
Or 7.
or 7, yeah, which again would probably accommodate even more parent schedules. But again, I understand that we want to have administrators attending and retained board attendance as well. So, I mean, I'm open to ideas. I think something later than 3 would be ideal. I like the idea of 4, although I'm not going to say that's the time that we have to meet.
I'm all for having it at the same time each time and not alternating, because I'll forget.
You'll show up at 10 minutes at 4, 4 minutes at 10.
Is it this week at 4, next week at 5?
Well, I mean, we do get notices, I mean, we do get, documents sent to us, let us know when the times are, you know what I mean? So that's somewhat manageable.
Is it impacting on students' sports? I mean, don't they have sports after school?
A lot of students do.
Pardon?
A lot of students do, yeah.
Yeah, and so
It doesn't affect.
it doesn't affect them, but it might affect their parents who bring them there, and bring them back, and
Are we getting any parents writing in saying, I want to attend and I couldn't because I'm working, or I'm just curious how we're getting that too?
I've never heard of that, at all. And,
I'm sure we would have.
But it's, yeah, I mean, I like this time, but I understand, but it's not just about me, it's not the board and the school. I do know when we had our meetings, I think ours were 6 or 6:30, I don't think they were at 7. Even those for years and years, we didn't have anyone I almost gave us that. Very little. Like you
I remember.
You take.
Oh, yeah,
just
there-
hardly any
unfortunately,
ever-
very little.
Very little.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
that's just the fact of it.
I think it's good. Well, I think they watch on TV, because that's what I do, you know, when
Yeah.
I wanted to be at a meeting, I just watch it, and then attend the next one if I want to say something.
Yeah.
But, how about noon time? Is noon time a good time? Online?
For me, it would not be any better than 10. Again,
You don't have a lunchtime?
See,
I do, but I at my school, we eat with the kids.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
We can do 6 AM.
We got 6 AM, that would,
Got it off the table, I was just checking.
as long as it takes an hour, that would actually work.
So Glenn is not here, but I know he voices concerns about having to try to get out from work, but I don't know about the other board. That's not here today,
Well, he works at night, so that would impinge upon his job too.
I don't think we'll ever come with a perfect time, you know, for everybody. Whatever where it comes to the board is, whatever you want to do.
Doesn't matter to me.
I'm fine with alternating from 10 to 4. You know, honestly, it's tough for me too, but I make it work. You see me take these phone calls in my truck, on the job site, you know what I mean? Like, I try, but it's not easy. So, I'm open, you know, I'll do my best to be here like I have since I joined this board, but I can see where Ash is coming from. I'm lucky enough to work for myself and make it work, but doesn't mean I'm not working on the weekends and make up for it. So, but again, you know, I'm here, I, you know, make it work.
I'm gonna make a motion to change the time from 10 to 4. Second one, please.
May I make a suggestion, maybe we trial it until town meeting day? Alternate 10 to 4, and then we can figure out what would work best when we reorg in March. We alternate till then, and then just, ooh, 4 actually works a lot better, we'll change it to 4 in March. If we do a trial till then, I would suggest, what, 6 months? Maybe.
You're suggesting until March that we alternate
Yeah.
between 10 and 4?
Yeah.
Why don't we just have it at 4 until March?
Well, just,
The alternating is just mind-boggling.
I only said the alternation because the 10 endings, we could see a tour with kids active. The 4 o'clocks, we don't get that opportunity.
Right, a lot of empty
So
buildings.
we could alternate and still
The
see.
reason I said 4 o'clock is because after school, it's already dark. And in another, what, month? It'll be an hour darker,
Oh, sure, yeah.
or lighter.
and we have the option to do remote, you know what I mean, that's,
Yeah, you can always.
I mean, that's an option too, so.
You meet in the afternoons, you have the opportunity to do the report. It's hard during the day. I know Chuck is on there.
Well, if we have a November, December, January, that's 3, and then we don't usually meet in February.
Right.
And then there's March reorganization, so we're talking about 3 meetings in the future.
So I'll move it to get it down that we, adjust the, meeting time for the next 4 months until 4 o'clock, so we get a chance to study the effects on how effective we are, or whatever this is.
Revisit it in March after the election.
Right.
Second. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
It'll be 4 o'clock the next meeting.
Now, my next question would be, do people get compensated for staying extra?
No, there's always one side.
Not even a
No,
floating
no,
time?
No, you don't get less time.
That's it. Anybody have anything else?
Yes, I have one thing.
Okay.
For all of those who Lori Alexander, she told me to say hello. She had lunch at my house this past week. Every so often, she meets with my wife and some other active individuals my wife is nowhere near where Gloria is in terms of age, but she talks about the board all the time, she's an education. And so we started to have a little house for lunch on a rotating basis when she feel like she wanted to come out. So,
Please tell her I said hello.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great to hear.
That's it.
Anything else? Motion to.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.